Hey guys, Chef Matthew at Merchants. Today we're going to talk about the differences of breaking down a whole tenderloin against buying pre-cut steaks. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to break down this whole Hereford 1881 beef tenderloin. It's a beautiful tenderloin. We know ahead of time that this weighs 5 pounds and 8 ounces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start breaking down and getting rid of our waste and trim and showing you some different things you can do with that waste and trim. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to separate that chain from the side of the tenderloin. So we're going to go ahead and separate that all the way down, even into the head. All right, we're going to set that to the side. We're going to hold on to that. And then we're also going to take the silver skin. So the silver skin runs about midway up, all the way into the head, and we're going to go ahead and clean all of that off of there. You want to make sure that you're yielding as much as you possibly can, so you want to make sure that you're cutting silver skin and not meat. So you don't want to end up with a bunch of meat on your silver skin. So some of these pieces right here, we've taken a little bit too much meat off. Alright, so we're about the end of our silver skin here. There's a little bit more that's going to be inside the head, and we'll take that off afterwards. We're going to take our scraps, we're going to continue to weigh those as well so we can get a yield at the very end. Alright, so we have a little bit of finger meat in here on the bottom, just a very small amount. We're going to take that off. Once again, this is a very nicely trimmed tenderloin when it shows up to you already. So there's going to be a high yield rate. Alright, so some of this kidney fat, we're going to leave this on there. So this is going to add some flavor to it while it's grilling. It's going to allow the steak to char a little bit as well. Alright, so the tail, we're going to take just a little bit off the tail. This is a nice thick tenderloin, so normally you'd end up taking a little bit more off the tail, but we're not going to have to. I'm going to save that off to the side. And so we're going to go ahead and start cutting our tenderloins, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with the head piece as well. So we want to go ahead and get 8-ounce fillets all the way down. Alright. Let's weigh these out. 7.5. 8. 8. Alright, so we got 5 8-ounce center cut fillets from that, which is really nice. But we've also got this head piece, which you can cut metro steaks out of. A lot of people will go ahead and cut 1 more, 2 more fillets out of that. Some people don't like to sell those. So we're going to account for those in our trim waste. So out of our 5-pound, 8-ounce whole beef tenderloin, we have 3 pounds of waste. But let's talk about some of the things you can do with that waste. So number one, we already identified that you can sell these as metro fillets. You can sell these. But you can also take all these pieces, you can cut them down, you can cut them into little cubes. And with those cubes, you could lightly dust these in flour, salt and pepper. You could drop them in the fryer, toss them in a little sweet and sour, and you've got yourself a nice little appetizer. One thing you can also do is you can have stew meat out of this. You can make beef tips with rice out of this. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with the waste. A lot of people will take the tail meat, cut it real nice and thin, all the way down, and you've got nice fajita meat. It's expensive fajita meat, but you've got fajita meat. You could also grill that tail off, salt and pepper, slice it and sauce it, so you've got more usages out of your waste. So we started out with a 5.5 pound fillet. We took out about 3 pounds of trimmings. That's a 46% yield, which you put time in, you put labor into it, you lost product, which hopefully we're going to gain something on the back end. But there's also an alternative to cutting your own fillets. And that alternative is going to be our Greater Omaha Darfresh packaging. So it's going to be a little bit more cost involved in it, but you're going to take the labor out of it, you're going to take the waste out of it. So you're going to end up with 2 8-ounce fillets, 100% yield. Like I said, you're going to pay a little bit more money for it, but you've also got a 30 to 90 day shelf life on these. So you can bring them in, you can freeze them, and you've got 6 months on them. But if you keep them fresh, you've got 3 months fresh inside the packaging. So there's 2 ways to go about it. You can get whole tenderloins in, you can break them down, you can sell them, you can get some good yield off of them, but you can also get our Greater Omaha Darfresh packaging and get 100% yield out of it. So thank you guys.